And the problem with predefining the risk is that it requires that I gather evidence as to why it might not work. Predefining your risk requires that you gather evidence as to why it might not work. Well, I wouldn't even be getting into it in the first place if that were the case. So I'm going to gather as much evidence as possible to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. Because if I start gathering evidence as to why it might not work, then I might talk myself out of taking the trade. And then if I end up talking myself out of taking the trade and it turns out to be a winner, I'll probably be in more emotional pain than what I would have been in had I taken the trade and it turned out to be a loser. The next error, define the risk but don't take the loss, and it turns out to be a bigger loss. That's probably one of those things that never happened to anybody in this room, but just in case someone watches the DVD where this sort of thing has happened, I included it. Same dynamics, basically. Hesitate, get in too late. Why are you going to hesitate? Why are you going to hesitate to get in? If the criteria that you use to define an edge is present in this moment, why would you hesitate? Because you don't think the trade's going to work. You have doubt. In other words, you are either thinking, believing, or assuming that you know what's going to happen next. Think of the connection here. You couldn't hesitate unless you either assumed, think, or believed that you know what's going to happen next. If you operate out of the perspective that you don't know what's going to happen next, I don't need to know what's going to happen next to make money, then there's no point in hesitating. The way it relates here is that I've got a technical methodology that gives me winning trades, let's say 65% of the time. I don't know which of those, of the next 20 trades or 25 trades that come up, I don't know which ones are going to be the winners and which ones are going to be the losers. If I'm going to trade my methodology appropriately, it really obligates me to take every single trade. I can't be picking and choosing my trades based on what I think is going to happen, because hopefully I've already established you don't know. And if you think you know, you're just making it up in your own mind. I'm going to repeat that. If you think you know, you're just making it up. Is everybody all right with what I just said?
Yes.
And so it obligates me to take every single trade that comes up, because I don't know which ones are going to be the winners and which ones are going to be the losers. It means that if I'm having problems, it's because I have a certain expectation about this trade, or about this trade, or about this one. So what if I'm expecting a random outcome? What if I change my expectations? Will I feel differently about it? If I change my expectations, will I feel differently about it?